What routines have you created with your emotions? We're going to talk about it on today's podcast. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We've realized life is a dance. The ups and downs can spin you out of your mind, but it's time to take back control. It's time to become a lifer. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We are a new breed of overachievers. Emotional mastery is our journey, and unlocking our full potential is the key. Welcome to the journey. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. What's up, lifers? Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited that you're here because we're going to talk today about what routines you're creating with your emotions. Well, what do you mean routines, right? What do you mean routines? Well, we're going to kind of dive in and deal with it right now. Every day you have things that you do, and some of the things that you do, you look at and you believe that they are successful, and I'd like to hear about them. So below in the comments, make sure that you comment about what routines do you have that you are successful with? Okay, maybe you go to the gym every day. Do you go to the gym every day? What do you do? What's your routine? You get up, you do a certain thing every day. I'd love to hear about it. Write it in the comments below and let me know what your routine is for going to the gym. For those of you that go to the gym every day and it's like habitual and you've got that down, okay? Some of you have figured out how to earn $1 million and you have $1 million business and you have a routine that you go through. On Mondays, I do this. On Tuesdays, I do that. On Wednesdays, I do this. And as you found things that work, you keep them. And as you find things that don't work, you get rid of them. So what's your business routine? Okay, what's your eating routine? If you've been successful at an eating routine, what is it that you had? See, recently, I realized that I was overweight. Oh my gosh, I was overweight. But, nobody was really telling me that I was overweight. Hang out with people that were nice, I guess. Nice or not nice? I'm not sure what it was, right? But nobody was telling me I was overweight. And something happened and it clicked. And I knew that I should lose some weight. But it didn't really come into my goggles, right? And so all of a sudden, there were a few things that happened. It's another story. And it clicked in and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to change that. And so I made a plan and I had to change my routine. This is huge. You've got to understand the routines that you're doing. Now, all of the routines that you're doing, you have routines that you're successful. So write them down in the comments below, right? I want to see what routines you have because this is going to make a big difference. So as we go through and talk through this video, you'll understand why. But write down in the comments below what your routines are. I'd love to see them, right? And as you do, don't be afraid because I know I watch videos too, and sometimes I don't comment in them. But you know what? Comment below what routine that you have. You have at least one or two really successful routines. Hey, maybe you do the same thing when you wake up and you walk to the bathroom and you brush your teeth in the exact same way and you have beautiful teeth and you're very proud of your smile and your white teeth. I don't know. Is that the routine? It could be any routine, any little thing, right? Now, I'll tell you a secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. I actually love to look at process and routines. And so I do crazy things. Like for a lot of years, I would look at how I dried off after I was getting out of the shower. And I tried to evaluate the best process to be able to dry off in the fastest, most efficient way, because it wasn't just about fast. It was like I actually wanted to be dry. Okay. I know that's silly, right? But it was a routine. It was a routine that I do every day and I'll do every day for the rest of my life. And I did every day up till now. So I might as well make that the best process I've ever had, right? And I know that sounds crazy, but how do you dry off? Okay, don't write that in the comments below. Not really sure I want to know. All right, let's leave that one out. But maybe you have a routine. And I want you to write that in the comments below. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you do that. And that way we can look at it and other people can see, because they might look at you going to the gym and your routine for it and they might go, oh, well, I could do that. So what if you had a routine that you shared right here and it changed a few people's lives? Well, that's kind of our mission, right? We want to change people's lives. We want to have impact. All of us do. It's just sometimes we believe we can't, right? So this is simple, right? Write that routine down. Now, let's take it a step further. Hey, you can pause this video. I know you can, right? So you could pause the video and write the comment, okay? And then just come back and push play. So if you know and understand routines that you have that are successful, then you also probably know that you have some routines that are not so successful. You do things that maybe weren't so good. So like in my case, I had started eating really poorly. And I always based it off of like circumstance. And this is just how it has to be. And so I didn't notice, my metabolism had slowed down and my body started responding differently to the things that I used to eat. And so you assume everything's going to stay the same, but it doesn't. Things change, life changes, your routines, your habits change. And so I had to go through and look at the routine that I had for eating and how I eat and what I ate and when I ate, and change that routine. And I had tried a few times before, but I hadn't actually made the shift here that it was a necessity. There wasn't an emotion behind it. And I had some other emotional routines that I was running through. Now, I just kind of gave it away because truthfully, all of these routines that you do have emotions that are absolutely painting that routine. Right? And I know I'm saying it strangely, but if you've read my book, I talk about emotions as crayons. You should go check it out. There's a cool process in there that I call crayons. And if your emotions are painting your routines, if you can actually get your routine down, then you might actually be able to see what emotions you're painting it with. And that would be really cool. How are you painting the routines that you are having success with? And how are you painting the routines that you are not having success with? This is a huge deal. This is huge. How are you painting your routines every day? So if you are brave and courageous, don't worry, people don't know who you are on YouTube, right? It's just a way to connect. So in the comments below, tell me about a routine that you run that you know isn't successful. Just write it down once, because you might be able to come back and look at it in a couple days, or somebody else might be able to look at it and go, oh, I run that routine too. I do that same routine too. So maybe if you could comment down below and write down that routine, like I do this. Now, what's the routine that I am not successful with? What is it? Okay. So if that routine, you can actually say, okay, I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. And you can notice from your history that maybe you haven't had some success with it. Then maybe we can go back in and look at it and go, okay, what emotions are in that routine? And sometimes when we do something that we don't like, when we do something that we are not proud of, when we do something that doesn't fall in suit with what we believe, sometimes it's because we have a routine that we've established and we didn't actually establish it. It wasn't us. Maybe it was other people in our world. Maybe it was our parents. Maybe it was our teacher that we didn't like, or somebody that maybe set up a habit or a routine for us that we didn't really install ourselves. And you've got to think about that. So real quick, again, comment below, what's a routine that you run that you haven't had success with? Maybe it's about eating like mine was, right? But you know what? Once I got it figured out, and you can maybe, if you were to ask people that were in my circle around me, I lost about 50 pounds in about 4 months. And I didn't do anything unhealthy. It's crazy, right? But a lot of it was emotions. And once I actually got through to myself, I know that sounds funny, right? Once I got through to myself, because I do my emotions, nobody else does my emotions. I choose. You choose too. So once I got through to myself, then it was simple. I made the adjustment, I changed up my routine, and then things started to work. And that's the case for all sorts of things. And this is why having a mentor or a coach is super valuable. Sometimes we think of having coaches just for, well, basketball or football. But I mean, honestly, having a coach is for anything you would like to get better at. And let me tell you, some of my favorite coaches had nothing to do with what I thought they were doing, right? And they were teaching me about things about life. And of course, once I got on board and realized, hey, a life coach is really good, I had some really great life coaches. And even now, I still have some really amazing mentors that I look at as my coaches. And that's just how it is. So if you hadn't considered a life coach, well, there's lots of us out there. It's something I do, although, I don't have a huge amount of space. So if you're interested, make sure you send us an email and we'll see about getting you some information to get in. But get somebody that you feel like can help you with the thing that you're doing. And maybe your routine, if you're a dancer, you would come to a dance coach to fix your routine, right? And that's huge because something you're doing in your routine might actually be killing the things you're doing. And one of the things I learned about dance, and this is huge, is that sometimes the thing that's the problem, the figure that's the problem you think, is really caused by like 3 steps before. Wow, that's a life lesson, isn't it? Sometimes the problem that we're dealing with, like me being overweight at the time, was about the 3 or 4 steps before. Those 3 or 4 steps happen to be years, right? But those things before caused the problem, and I had to fix those things. Now, fix, that's relative. I wasn't broken. You're not broken. Don't let anybody tell you you're broken. You're not broken. You're not broken. We're not broken. We work just fine. Sometimes we need to improve our routines. We need to change them up. But what emotions are you painting those routines with? Because if you change the routine, that's one step and it might help. But if you don't actually paint it with better emotions, then that routine could be really fabulous. That's why some diets don't work for some people. That's why some solutions don't work for some people, because they didn't change the emotions they were painting their routines with. And therefore, they kept doing the same thing in a new routine. They kept doing the same emotional routine in a new routine, right? Some people go, well, going to the gym doesn't work for me. All right, if you say so. But you know what? There are millions of people all over the world that going to the gym works for them. So why are you the special one that it doesn't work for? Well, don't answer that. I'm telling you right now, we've got to look at your routine. We've got to look at how you're painting your routine with emotions. Hey, write it down. If you wrote down your emotional thing and you commented in the comments below, if you wrote down your routine and then you came back and wrote down your routine that you're not having success with, now look at it yourself. As you look at it, you can actually say, okay, I was doing that emotionally because of this, right? I needed to feel this emotion. I wanted to feel this way. And don't you dare say that it made you feel. No, nothing made you feel anything. You made you feel some way because you decided. So you get to decide again. And I know you're thinking, no, I can't. Okay, well, maybe some of you aren't thinking that because you might have been following me for a while. But yes, you can. You can decide how you're going to feel. And if you're going to decide how you're going to feel, you might think, well, I just don't have any practice at doing that. You're right. You might not have, because you know what? School doesn't teach you how to do it. You know what? high school, middle school, elementary school, college. Nobody teaches you how to do that. How do you practice your emotions? Well, if you're interested, just ask. Follow the podcast. Listen to some of the stuff we're doing. I've got lots of tools and resources that can help you. Check out my new book, Every Minute. You can get it at everyminutebook.com. If you want some coaching, send us an email, info@magicforlife.com. We'll be happy to suggest. If we're good fits for you, great. If not, we will actually help you figure out what to do next. Right? So I want you to really think about what those routines are, right? And if you haven't yet, be courageous, be bold. Don't worry, not many people are reading your thing, but then the ones that your thing that you wrote down in these comments, that thing that stands out might actually change somebody's life. So write it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell because you're going to want to hear the next podcast that comes out. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. I'm so grateful for all of you that are following the podcast and following our stuff. If you haven't yet, go subscribe to iTunes podcast or Stitcher, and make sure you're on YouTube to follow us on YouTube. And keep an eye out. We got lots of cool things coming and some really cool projects coming your way that are really going to help you. They're going to change your life forever. So we'll see you on the next podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today, and take care. Bye-bye. Happiness is a choice. Sadness is a choice. All emotions are a choice. Sometimes doing our emotions doesn't seem like it's our choice, but it is. You have control. You are the captain of your ship, and you must learn how to be the best captain you can be. Let me show you how. Pick up your free copy of my new book, Every Minute, at everyminutebook.com.